Alright. So, you think that I'm a normal person, but the thing is that I'm like freakishly obsessed with my N-word teacher.
What's his name, Tracy?
His name is Colin Christian Mort, which today he says, he writes it on the board and says Mort. That means death. We were like, great. And, yeah, so he's a grad student, and he's from Pennsylvania. Let me just spill all the knowledge I know about him. This might be longer than 2 minutes. And he's from Pennsylvania, but he lived in New York for a while, and he went to Colgate University, and he's a writer. I could bring up his work on the internet, but I can't recite it yet.
Yes.
And,
do you have his phone number, Tracy?
Well, I did. He wrote it on the board.
Talk about the homosexual part.
I'm getting there.
He's not a homosexual, okay?
Alright. He's just, I think he might be metrosexual because he's a little girly, like, he wears nice clothes and he's always, like, clean shaven and, well, his face is, like, perfect anyway. I mean, there's not much you can do about that. And, but see, the weird thing is he shaves his legs.
I didn't know he shaved his legs. He shaved his legs!
It's probably because he's a swimmer, you know, like, I don't really know. But, and his teeth are perfect. And he works out a lot, and he only eats, like, sushi and bananas and water. And he doesn't even eat the sushi with the cooked meat because he says it's normally fried, and I don't eat that. I was like, you eat a lot of healthy food. He was like,
Tracy, you can tell about the deep fryer at home.
I'm not done with Colin yet, okay? And, yeah, so we sat down and had dinner. Well, he didn't really have dinner. He just sort of sat down. And what else is there? I have lots of stories I can tell about him. Today in class I had a question. Once we started, I raised my hand because once we started filling out the student evaluations, he had to go out in the hallway, and I was like, well, can I ask you one last question? And so I started asking, he said, come here. So I was like, okay. So I got up and went to the front, I started like talking to him. And he always like gets this smirk, like he's laughing at me for some reason. I don't know why, I think he knows that I'm like infatuated with him. Cause he'll, like I'll start talking, he'll be like, and then I start to laugh, because I don't know why he's laughing. So he said, he started trying to answer my question. He said, let's go in the hallway. I was like, okay. And he was like, what are your grades again? So I told him what my grades were, and then, he didn't shave today. I don't know why. He was a little scruffy.
Maybe it's over.
I think that alcohol might have too many like calories for him though.
Maybe he just starves himself. He can have beer.
He's kind of skinny.
Light beer.
The other day, like at McLeod, one of the streets goes this way and the other one goes this way, and me and this other girl were walking this way, and she had to stay after asking the question, so I waited for her because she wanted me to walk with her. So we walked this way towards the bus stop, and he was walking this way, like back towards the stadium. And there's like a drive right here where cars come, and so we're walking here and he's walking here, and all of a sudden he says, "Shoo," like that, and while I was completely in front of traffic, over to walk with us. And I said, you took the long way around, didn't you? And he said, but I still beat you. And I was like, because you walk like this. Because you walk fast. And he started laughing. And he was like, wouldn't it be faster for you guys to walk that way? And I was like, no, because we have to walk all the way up the hill. And then so one time after we watched this movie, there was this good song at the end, and I was like, what's the name of the song, you guys? I wasn't asking him though, I was asking people in the class, and he said, Ooh La La by the Faces. The Faces, Ooh La La, and I was like, oh, okay. So then, when he sat down, we were eating dinner that night, I said, so do you have a soundtrack? I said, so do you have a soundtrack to the movie? And he was like, no, I don't have a soundtrack. And I was like, oh, you said it was good, so I thought maybe you had it, and I wanted song to burn it. And he was like, oh no, I don't have it. And I was like, I downloaded that song. He said, downloaded? I was like, yeah. And he was like, what do you mean how'd you download it? I was like, cause I like. And he said, oh, they had, I was like, yeah. And like sometimes.
Minute number 6.
What did you know? Make sure I saw you in there.
Hold on, I have like a couple more and then I'm done. So I'm gonna tell you the topper. So one day when we had to bring in our problem statements class, he went around the table like this. Well, I happened to be like the next to last person. And class is in, and it was still the girl before me, and then me and the girl after me. So he was like, okay, I'll read them and email them to you guys. And I was like, are you really going to email them to us? Because when you email them, it takes them like 2 days to write back, and I need to know whether mine's good or not. I said, are you really going to email them to us tonight? And he started laughing because he knew what I was talking about. And he was like, okay, I will read them now after class. And I was like, okay. So we started walking, me and these 2 other girls and Colin, and he's reading the other girl's paper, and she had like 3 topics, so he had to like spend a lot of time reading it. He was like, we started having to go down the stairs in the cloud, and he said, well, maybe I should wait until I go down the stairs and then read this. We were like, okay. And he said, see, I was walking this morning, and I was walking up these steps, and I sort of fell, and there was this girl there, and she tried to pretend like she wasn't laughing at me, but I heard her chuckling behind me, and we were like, oh, that's pretty sad. But see, the thing was that like 2 days earlier, I fell at the pad, like outside where everyone is. I fell walking up the steps, so I shared my story too. And so then we're walking outside, and he's like reading the other girl's paper, and he's like, okay, well, I'll email this to you tonight, I promise, by 8 o'clock. And he tells the other girl that too. But he was like, okay, let's grab a seat on the brick wall. I was like, okay. So we went and had a seat on the brick wall, and he starts to read my paper, and he puts some shades on, and all of a sudden this fly comes buzzing up, and it lands on his cheek. And I was sitting on that side where the fly landed, and I was like, ew, and went like that and started to brush it away before he did. And, well, I didn't actually touch it. It was like, and I brushed it away, and he was like, oh, or no, he didn't say that. He just sort of backed away, and I was like, that was so dumb. I had played off then. I don't know why I did that. So then, after he read my thing, and we talked about that for a while, then we started walking away, and so we were walking up, like to the little crosswalk, and
You think you know?
he said that I would think his writing was bizarre. And I was like, okay. And then when we got to the little crosswalk, he said, okay, well, I have to go this way. I was like, alright, bye.
And that's
You think you know.
You have no idea. Maybe once.